right, Power Rankings, week number 18. It is our second live Power Rankings of the year, of course. Mikey B, Squid. Congrats to your Bengals.
Champions.
AFC North champions, man. Man, what a game. Probably game of the year, right?
Yeah.
I guess they're going to be the biggest, test case here of where do you place them? I know last week I had number 9, I think, last week on my list.
I had him 10 last week.
Right, so I think we're going to have a test case of where do we place these guys? Because they definitely shook some shit up this weekend in the NFL.
Zach Taylor, big balls.
We talk about Coach of the Year. I mean, we have to consider him, right? No one's talked about him really in a real conversation about Coach of the Year, but
buddy, I look at it from this standpoint. The only award that they're guaranteed to win is Jamar Chase winning Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Saying though, AFC North might.
Don't talk about us. Don't talk about Joe Burrow with the MVP consideration. Don't talk about Zach Taylor. Let us keep doing our job. The reality of the situation, if you look at the Bengals' schedule, that loss against Green Bay that they could have won.
Yeah.
The loss against Chicago that looks really bad that they could have won. The game against San Francisco that went to overtime that they were winning for most of that game. The only game that they've lost that looked really bad was against the Chargers.
Yeah. And the Browns.
Oh, the Browns game too.
Browns game, yeah. So surprisingly, the Browns actually got to hold you guys really well.
I mean, the Jets with Mike White.
Yeah, but that's a close game too. I mean, it's a bad loss, but it was a close game. It was a blowout. Those two you just mentioned were blowouts, though.
But that's what I'm getting at is if two or three of those games go our way instead of the other way,
yeah,
we're in 1 seed right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things this is why the NFL is so great because it's a game of inches, really, not just on the field, but also when it comes to standings and seedings and all this stuff. You look back, look at the Dolphins, for example. I mean, look at the Dolphins example. They went into Sunday literally controlling their own destiny, and in a span of 4 hours, were out of the playoffs completely because everything went against them. They lost their game against Tennessee, and all the tiebreakers they needed to hold on, they all lost those.
Because 2 is awful.
Yeah, that's going to be another obviously conversation we're going to have in this podcast, between February and June. So, anyway, let's get to the rankings. Shall we? Number 10, who do you got?
This team free-falled a little bit for me this week. They fell from 6 to 10. I'm going to put the Indianapolis Colts here.
Guess what? So did I. It's a bad loss. It's a bad loss, too. Now, not surprised the Raiders were competitive because I had an argument with Big Jim on the Hello podcast last week, and I told him that the Raiders were frisky, and I got laughed at for that. I said the Raiders will cover the points. Didn't think they'd win the fucking game. Didn't see that coming.
No.
But here we are.
Originally, whenever Carson Wentz wasn't going to play, we talked about this on the live stream when we talked about that line being 8.5, and we were just like, do they know something about Carson Wentz that we don't know? Because why is that line 8.5 with Sam Ehlinger at quarterback?
Yeah, it was weird. So, but I agree with you, man. I think they'll get in. I think they'll fix the right and the wrong on this.
I mean, for them not to get in, they need the entire world to go the opposite direction. And I think they're playing Jacksonville this week, so
they'll take a business.
I'm as pencil them into a playoff spot as you could be.
The Jags are fishing already. They're starting a fishing trip already. So, yeah. All right, number 9, who you got?
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
You weren't impressed with that win, were you, against Atlanta?
No.
That was a game, actually. That was actually a close game.
The worst 7-8 team or 7-9 team of all time, the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah. I'm with you. Number 9 for me is Diston.
How about that, Cowboys? Yeah!
That's a bad loss.
It is, but it isn't because what we're forgetting is Arizona's still an 11-win team. They didn't lose to the 3-win Giants or Eagles or Redskins. They lost to a team that's going to make the playoffs and potentially could still win their division.
It's a perception thing more than anything else. You know what I'm saying? It's perception, I guess.
I guess the real issue is the lack of offense the last couple weeks. That's been the Dak in a slump. What's going on? Trust me, I've lived through it for 2 weeks of fantasy football reasons. So the slump is real with this offense. They need to get it back into gear, but losing Michael Gallup for the year is going to hurt.
Right. I agree, 100%. All right, number 8.
I have the Cowboys at 8.
Oh, really? You do?
How about that, Cowboys?
Yeah. The teams that were behind them all did their job, and unfortunately, with them not winning, they do have to fall some. I mean, I didn't free fall them like I did the Colts, but dropping them is what needed to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. Number 8 for me, this team stayed where it's at. That's New England Patriots. I mean, that's a great bounce back. I know it's the Jaguars, but 50 points, 50 points. I don't give a shit who you are. You're an NFL team. 50 points against any team is pretty impressive. And done that what, I think twice or 3 times now. It's scored at 44 or more against a couple teams there. So, it's a big win there for them. They needed it too after the last 2 weeks. So, all right, number 7.
Give me the AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals.
Guess what? So do I. And I flirted with putting them number 6, to be honest with you.
I did too until I started looking at some things. And when I look at the overall rankings, I think that there's still work for them to do. Personally, win the first playoff game in, a million years is goal number 1. That's why I said, don't talk about the rest of them. Let Jamar get his shine for being rookie of the year, and let's
right.
focus on playoff wins rather than regular individual awards.
Right. Number 6 we got.
Give me Mac Jones and the New England Patriots.
Ooh, okay. So, where were they last year?
They were 7. They moved up 1 spot.
Okay. So you're impressed with this week.
They were the benefit of the Colts free fall, because I had the Colts at 6 last week.
Right.
What I'll say with them, I know they don't control their own destiny to win the division, but I'm still petrified of that defense.
Oh, of course.
And that's why I have them ahead of Buffalo.
Yeah. Number 6, I had to do it this time. I had to do it. This team was in my top 10, I think, last week, I believe. But if the playoffs started today, the number 1 seed in the AFC, and that's Tennessee Titans. I have to do it at some point. And now, the main reason why I put them high, too, is that we're hearing that Derrick Henry could be back. That's released this week. So when you add the Derrick Henry factor into that now, I have to course correct for that, because he makes them now a Super Bowl contender, because the AFC is not – the AFC is wide open. Bro. Let's be real for what it is. The AFC is wide open, really. I mean, Chiefs are good, but they're not infallible. So any team could come in and just do, going on a heater. And the Titans, they get an extra week off, especially 2 this week. They win this week and get a bye week, and Henry's back in 2 weeks for the visual game. That's a great sign for the Titans. So I had to reward him in that one. So that's number 6 for me.
I have the Titans at 5.
You did it. You even higher than me. There you go.
I had them at 9 last week, so I had to move them up accordingly.
So we had the same idea.
Yes.
Jump. And the Dolphins have won some in a row, and obviously it's middling opponents, but they must pump the brakes on the Dolphins pretty quickly in a dominant way. Gotta give credit for that.
34-3, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, 5 for me is Arizona Cardinals. That's a big win. I mean, you beat a Dallas team that people are trying to say, oh, they're a Super Bowl contender, You're free falling. This is a big game for your team, to perception, whatever. And you come out there and that's a great performance by the Cardinals team that for the most part this year has looked like that. So I give him credit for that. So number 5, the Cardinals. So.
I think I just noticed something on your rankings that we'll talk about afterwards. But
I know people also do, but I'm going to defend it because this is a lot harder than you realize. This is more of a confidence thing.
All right. Number 4, give me Tommy and the Bucks.
Guess what? I got them there too. Not impressive. They won.
They moved up a spot in my rankings. They were 5 last week. They're 4 this week. The loss of Antonio Brown for him going CTE may hurt them long term with no Chris Godwin. So I don't know what the hell they're going to do after Mike Evans, a wide receiver. So some questions there, but you can't penalize them too badly for only beating the Jets by 6 or 7.
Right.
What the fuck it was. I don't even remember.
All right. This would be fun. Number 3.
You have the Bucks at 4 as well?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, give me Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Same as last week.
Yeah, I had them at 3 last week. Yeah. They didn't.
I think we got the same 3s last week also too. 3's the Rams still.
You had the Rams at 3?
Yeah, still 3. Because they almost lost to Baltimore. I mean, it was not an impressive win.
Chiefs didn't lose, though.
They won by a point. I mean, they almost lost that game. I mean, I'm not going to knock them for, obviously that, but that's a game that they probably should have won running away.
Dude, Tyler Huntley threw for however many fucking yards the 1 start he had and almost beat Green Bay. We didn't penalize them.
Did I penalize them that week, though? I thought I did actually that 1 week. I might have won by a spot because of that. I may have. I'm not sure exactly. No, but and again, I think the other thing also I'm a little worried about too. Also, is the Stafford thing, the pick sixes. I love Matt Stafford. I've been one of his biggest defenders last decade, but He does have a knack. He's a gunslinger. He is, and he has a knack of throwing some pick sixes and stuff. So he did it again on Sunday, and it's a little scary. That's a little scary. So
Yeah.
I got to rank him accordingly.
Playing for a good team that still doesn't have a running back that you trust.
All right. Number 2. Who's the wait for this week?
The Rams.
Okay. You're still high on the Rams. You're still high on them.
Buddy, I'm sorry. There isn't a team right now in the NFC not named Green Bay that I trust more.
They might be the most consistent team on your rankings this year, including the Packers. Because the Rams have been top 5 since week 1, week 2.
Hold on, let's go back because I have it all right here. I started the Rams at 5.
Okay.
They have not fallen past.
I don't remember being out of the top 5 at all.
4. No, they were 5th week 14. And they vaulted back up after beating the Cardinals. They haven't been past 5th the rest of the year.
That's what I was saying. Like they've been a consistent team.
The Packers haven't been below 5th. Oh no, they were 6th, 8th. They were 8th. They weren't in my rankings at all week 5 after the loss.
Exactly.
Or week 4.
Yep.
The Rams have been in it every week. The Packers have earned their way back in after the shellacking from New Orleans.
Right. They've been, but as I'm saying, the Rams have been in your top 10, top 5 every single week since this year started. Even in a little slump, you never panicked.
But the Packers haven't been below 3 since week 11.
Right. I think same with me also too. I said probably earlier than that. 2 for me is the Chiefs. I had to knock them a little bit. I mean, that's a game they punched to 1. They were up big early, and then they just. Jamar Chase is a grown man. Jamar Chase is a grown man, dude.
It also turned into this is why they're not really the biggest threat in the Super Bowl contender race for the AFC. The fact they have no fucking run game. Because when you're up by 2 scores, you really should be running the fucking football. Right. And with Clyde Edwards-Helaire being hurt, I'm sorry, nobody's scared of Damian Williams.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Excuse me, Darrell Williams, or whichever fucking Williams they have running there now. Nobody's scared of that guy.
They might need Damian Williams to sign.
You know what? They may need to go sign anyone.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Ray Rice.
Ooh.
San Francisco treat. The Rice-A-Roni hit her with the 1-2 punch.
Part 2 also about Jamar Chase. Like the DB that was covering him, he did a good job. Jamar Chase is that good.
Yeah.
It was like he was like blowing him out. He wasn't passing him. Like he was literally covering well, and just Jamar Chase made plays. So. Obviously, number 1, we know number 1 is the team that clinched the NFC number 1 seed.
Ron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, MVP. Right? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, especially with Jonathan Taylor not having a great game against the Raiders. I mean, I know Joe's come on strong, but I don't think the front half of his year was good enough to pass Rodgers.
Right, he's been consistent. Although they had debate about the Brady beat, still getting MVP. Nah, Rodgers. Stop with the Brady thing, please. I love Brady more than anybody else, but please stop with that. All right, as we do every week, our Sad 5 on the Football's Awesome podcast. So let's go to 28-32. This is depressing, as always. 28, you got?
Fuck the Texans.
Fuck up the 2. I got him 28. 29.
I'm back to 29th overall, the Carolina Panthers.
Had to go to Detroit, man. That's a bad loss to Seattle. That's a bad loss. That's a bad loss. I have on a point, by the way, this week, too, for the record. 30.
Who knew that Sierra's husband could throw that many touchdowns in a game? Give me the Lions.
JETS. Still. Can't blow a lead, man. Sorry. 31.
Somebody tell Sunshine to cut his hair.
He's there, too. 31. Which means you actually agree with me, do you, on 32?
I had more passing yards than the Giants on Sunday.
So my dead grandmother. Just saying. They're that bad. Take from. Come on.
And you guys thought Daniel Jones wasn't a good quarterback, but you wasted a draft pick on Jake Fromm. Makes sense. That makes sense.
And that alone is why Gilman's get fired. That right there, you just identify why she get fired. Just saying, right there. So, anyway, follow Mike on Twitter at They Call Me Burn, BERN. We look out for our Take 3 Wrestling. We kick off the 2022 with our award show. Can't wait.
I got to go watch Wrestle Kingdom. That happened last night, and night 2 is tonight. So I will go watch Wrestle Kingdom.
Did you start already, or are you going to start now?
I got through, like, the first 2 matches, and then I was like, oh, let me turn on my Royal Rumble for a little bit to give myself a fucking break, and then we started recording, so I'm going to get back to Wrestle Kingdom.
So what's real quick before we go, where are you on a Rumble now? I am in the middle of 93.
Hold on. I have it paused on my TV. I'll tell you the year I'm in right now.
And by the way, I forgot Ric Flair was in that Rumble, 93.
Yeah. You came out like third, right?
Yeah.
Second,
actually.
I'm about halfway through the 96 Rumble.
Oh, okay. So I'll probably pick up some ground now because you're going to be watching Wrestle Kingdom. So, I plan on watching the Rumble today.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, we'll see you Thursday. And good job by you.
Later.
All right, Student of the Game Report, Week 18 with the man, Kyle Epinash. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you and to Mike, as I've humiliated both of you on your top 10s in the past weeks. How's it feel?
Damn, it's like that?
It is like that. I haven't even met Mike. I just heard his top 10, and I know it's even worse than yours.
I get the feeling at some point in the next couple of weeks you're going to cross paths. Because at some point I'm going to create a round table somewhere around Super Bowl weekend or somewhere close to that where I'm going to probably end up bringing him on at some point if he could make it. And then, yeah, you guys will go at it.
Well, here's what's going to happen. He and I are going to go in there, be cordial, and your bald ass will stir the pot.
Of course. That's why it's my job. Come on.
See, I paused for denial, and he does not deny.
Come on. Come on now.
No. Yeah, right. But yeah, first of all, let's just get it out of the way right away really quickly. It's obvious that you are a soldier of the College Football Playoff Committee because you did what they did. You lifted up other teams so that Notre Dame can be artificially lifted up. You lifted up other teams to justify your Kansas City Chief pick at number 1 or 2 when they deserve to be no higher than 4. Basically, if you have 4 teams, what you're telling me, granted, in some instances it will change because, the AFC does not necessarily have 2 teams that clearly belong in conference championship Sunday necessarily. I totally follow you on that. Before you even start that trash train, let me stop you right there in that this year, both in college and NFL football, have been incredibly nuts. Everybody has an awful loss on their resume, including your Indianapolis Colts and your Frisky Raiders being that awkward game. You keep saying, you gave me a hard time for the Raiders. Fool, I wasn't there. But as I listened to it, you made the case for the Frisky. I'm like, all right, so long as you're not saying
the case was closed.
What's that?
And the case was made, the case was closed.
Exactly. That's why, hey, listen, I'm starting out giving you the credit I can so I'm not just, constantly bashing your awful analysis skills. But
I can't, look. I think we need to revisit this whole thing about analysis. I'm not an analysis, dude. I'm just talking head.
You can't even say it right. It's analyst, but okay.
Analysis of my. I'm paralysis by analysis.
You're paralyzed by analysis. You're also literally as F. That's why you were a guitar player and now the lead singer.
Bullshit.
No, and I know you don't claim to be, which is why if you claim to be, I wouldn't bash you quite this hard because I'd be breaking your will to live. But that being said, you have a lot better analysis than the ones that get paid to do it in a lot of cases. And I'll say that before you start looking up every third publication. The Toledo Times said, I'm like, yeah, they suck too. Next question.
Yeah. Now, for record, when I do rankings, I don't ever look at the rankings till after the fact. When things public, then I see, okay, what exactly did ESPN have? And what are these idiots saying? And they're way off than I am.
The smartest thing I do see, though, is that you have only one AFC team in the top 4. And theoretically, in a perfect world, there would be 4 teams, 2 AFC, 2 NFC in the top 4, and the 4 of them would be battling out in conference championship Sunday. At this late of the game, that would be a strong element of the upper echelon of your power rankings, unless something's really out of whack, major injuries, what have you.
Right.
The Chiefs at 2 is still asinine, but we've touched on that. And my Cincinnati Bengals have dunked on you harder than I ever could.
Right.
Going back to when, what was that? I think it might have been like week 6 or something, where there was that week of top tens, and you had the Chiefs in there when they had no business being in the top 10 at the time. Jim submitted the Bears. Hold on. Jim submitted the Bears as the replacement, and I submitted the Bengals. Now the Bears, again, another dunk on Jim for the horrible Bears pick. They've done their job for us. But your Bengals disrespect continued for an extended period of time, and because they beat your Chiefs, you are compelled to not only put them in the top 10, but have them as 6th. That, sir, is what I refer to as justice.
Well, I mean, like I said, you guys know my rankings. I don't get paralyzed by win-loss records. I look at the totality. I look at the team also in that ranking. I look at the history. I look also what I think they could do. Look at the schedule. A lot of facts from the play. Like there's a reason why 3 weeks into the year, when the Broncos and the Panthers, for example, were 3-0, they didn't even sniff the top 10 because I didn't believe in those teams. That's simple.
Yeah, I mean, but if it's all about belief and faith, then, my friend, you need to be wearing a red yarmulke to everywhere you go outside the house. That's a Chiefs fan.
No, I totally get it. No, I totally get it. Yes. Yeah, Chiefs.
For those that didn't, yeah. And I mean, listen, I really think a yarmulke would look good on your head from a fashion standpoint. I know, I don't think you're Jewish, but I believe, what's that?
The wife is, though.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I was going to say, but I believe the loving wife is. So listen, tell her the next yarmulke needs to be red. If it's blue, she's obviously wrong, unless it's for the Patriots. But then it could be red and blue.
Slow your ass down. Slow your ass down.
Slow my ass down. Right. You claim to be a Giants fan. Let's address that.
Which I am.
What number do you have the Cowboys at?
This week, currently number 9.
No Giants fan is capable of this bad of analysis without completely lying about his loyalty.
I'm on a feelings guy. If a real Giant fan had to count with number 28, 29 right now. I mean, which is ridiculous too on itself.
I mean, you know,
backward, buddy. Logic and feelings.
No, there is no logic. The Cowboys have no signature win, none, and they're ninth.
I love how like. I have the list of things to talk about, and like this was not part of the things power rankings review.
No, this was all Kyle. Kyle had this in his pocket for the past 2 weeks because I knew the truth would set me free, and free I am.
Literally dedicated 25 minutes on the Huddle Up podcast last night doing this, and now we're dedicating another 10. I love it. It's great.
Oh no, I'm done with it now. I just need the people to know that you are nothing but a religious zealot for the Kansas City Chiefs. And a fanboy for the Cowboys, and your attempt to hide your Cowboy fanfare is to say, "Oh, but I'm a Giants fan." Yeah, listen, I know you named your son Troy, and that your dog's name is Irvin. Okay, I know what's up.
How about that, Cowboys?
I knew you were doing something sneaky. I saw the look in your eye. But anyway,
can I press this button real quick when he finishes? Boom, there we go.
Your Titans ranking is questionable, but I mean, I've learned to let it slide because the AFC, the AFC beyond the Chiefs is confusing. The teams that are top teams in the AFC just are not. Facts of the case. And this is why schedules matter in the NFL.
Instead of going through the playoff locks, because obviously we have an idea what's going on.
Right.
The rankings pretty much are going to solidify a lot of that conversation right now.
Right.
Tennessee Titans are obviously one of the biggest controversial
frauds
of the rankings anyway.
Oh, controversial points. I'm sorry. I thought you were one of the biggest frauds outside of Atlanta. But
they were 10 last week on my rankings, and they moved up to 6. Now I explained last time on the podcast, and I'll say it here too, that the reason why they moved up for me was mainly the big jump was mainly because of the fact that we got news, and today, as of like 25 minutes ago, Derrick Henry has been activated from the IR. Derrick Henry may not play this weekend, but again, they're playing Houston Texans. They don't really need him necessarily. And my logic is this: is that I don't necessarily believe in the Titans myself. Okay, however, when you look at the scope of the whole AFC, okay, the Chiefs are probably the only team I can feel like that can run away with the conference, and yet they have games like they had on Sunday throughout the entire year. Therefore, the AFC, in my opinion, is wide open. And because of the environment of the conference, I can see an upwards of 6 teams in that conference, and maybe even 7 if Baltimore gets in and they're healthy in time. That could be represent the conference in the Super Bowl. So that's why. And then you add the logic of Derrick Henry. Plus, they win this weekend, they get a bye week. So they would get a little bit of a shortcut to the Super Bowl. That was my logic. Now, if you're asking me, do they get there? No. If they're playing NFC, are they even in the conversation? No. But this is the fact that the combination of environment, the best player returning, and a possible shortcut, 1 game less to get to the Super Bowl is why I said they should be considered.
Right. And while I appreciate all of the above, you have put teams below them that I believe would send them home in the playoffs. That's my only beef. And obviously that doesn't include the Cowboys because they don't play, but I believe the Colts would send them packing. I believe the Patriots would send them packing. I believe the Bengals would send them packing. Now, I think, and of those teams, actually, I think the most dangerous matchups for the Titans in the playoffs, and we're saying it like it's a certainty. By the way, side note, should they lose to the Jags, with your logic, you wouldn't move them down a lick, would you?
You mean Texans?
Excuse me. What's the difference? They both suck.
Yeah. I would say he's a little bit better, though, at this point.
Yeah, no, actually the Texans have shown signs of life a la Brian Flores' Dolphins in the tank for 2 a year, which I told them they should get clever for Trevor, but whatever. That ship has sailed. But the punchline is they're doing kind of like that, and I can see why Dave Culley got the nod to go on and be the head coach. I don't disagree with that, since we're on the topic quickly. But if the Texans lose, are you going to move the Titans?
Oh, yeah. If the Texans want to beat the Titans this weekend, especially.
Okay. Because, I picked the Titans to have 11 wins this year, and they have
right. And
11 now. So, I scream and cry about the Titans as somebody who picked them to win 11 games. And the game that they won that I didn't think they would is obviously the Rams, right? Right. I think early in the year, because, it would have been pre-injuries and everything else, I actually think I had the Titans beating the Niners because of balanced offense, which they don't have. So, the long of all that short being, it's not that I'm saying the Titans are a horrible football team. They just got a lot of things going their way. They're very similar to the Rex Grossman Bears that lost to Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl.
Right. And here's the thing, Kyle. Everything you're saying I agree with. I'm just saying that the environment changed the conversation. Like, if we had runaways in the conference, if the Chiefs were the Chiefs the last couple of years, if, I don't know, say the Colts got their shit together early in the year, or some other teams, the Bills were what they were last year, we're not having this conversation about the Titans being in the conversation. But the environment created this opportunity here. And for the record, you said something about like this week when they moved down. Absolutely. You know why? If they can't even as much as even clinch the number 1 seed against a team that's inferior to them, how can I trust them to win the fucking Super Bowl, much less win the fucking playoff game?
You don't trust them to win the Super Bowl now. That's what I'm getting at. If a team is more likely to be a first round exit than a Super Bowl win, they have no business in the top 5. Period. End of story.
And this weekend we'll confirm that if they lose to the Texans again.
That's too low a bar. But anyways,
but I'm saying, but you asked the question. If they lose, dude, to be honest with you, if they lose this weekend, they might be out of my top 10. Depending on how they play them out, shake out.
They should at least drop low enough to knock the Cowboys out of the conversation. But enough about that. Let's go to your actual list of topics, sir.
Okay. We actually didn't talk about this on the Hello podcast last night, and I want to touch on this real quick. Antonio Brown, the whole fallout. We're still getting information in. As of right now, he is technically still a member of the Buccaneers. And Bruce Arians did say that he's no longer a Buck.
Right.
That was the word. Antonio Brown left the field after not coming into the game. And we were thinking maybe yesterday, 4 p.m. Today, we're recording this podcast on a Wednesday. He'll get officially cut. But apparently he is still technically on the roster. Now, we'll see if there's legalities involved in that and all that. I guess more than anything else, let's have an honest conversation about Antonio Brown, his career, where he's at now, and just everything around that, because I think we can have this conversation twofold. I think it's okay to say that this guy's an idiot. This guy has blown his career. This guy's blown it, and yet he has issues too. I think both are apropos. I think we can have that conversation and not have to say one or the other.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And well, I'll put it this way. It's a situation where I don't feel like any real, what's his word, enforcement has taken place against him at this point.
Right.
You know, and at that point, I don't know what it was Antonio Brown was trying to accomplish. I've heard multiple radio personalities say that at that moment he was trying to torpedo the team to make his point. Maybe, you know. Here's what I know. First of all, don't make anything of the fact he's still on the roster. Let's not start calling foul on that yet, because there are protocols that have to be followed and all of that stuff, and you know, certain things that need to be worked out. But keep your hand on the challenge flag. Because I'll tell you what, if he's still on the roster come Sunday, I don't give a damn if he dresses out or not. If he's still on the roster come Sunday, Arians better have some questions to answer, and he better have better answers than I don't want to talk about that right now. Now, granted, you and I both know we'll go this way, especially when you're a defending Super Bowl champion coach and a guy who's seen as much success as Bruce Arians. Hell, I'm a Bruce Arians fan as a football coach. There's a reason Tom Brady picked him. Let's be clear. Right. Also, mentioning your boy and man crush Tom Brady. Tom Brady getting all this praise for saying what he's saying about Antonio Brown and we should be considerate of him and all that stuff is nice. It's the right thing to say, I believe. But let's not act like Tom Brady is not the enabler here, right? He's the one that pounded the table for him twice to get picked up.
Bruce Arians didn't want him in the first place. He was on record saying, I don't want this guy on my team. And yet,
you know. So, and people wondering why Bruce Arians is saying what he's saying and why he's so frustrated about it is because he got dragged into this by his Hall of Fame quarterback, most accomplished quarterback in NFL history.
Hey, goat.
No, he's not. We're not having this conversation now. You've been proven wrong repeatedly.
That's an off topic. I get it.
As the most accomplished, where there's no argument is as the most accomplished NFL quarterback in history, Tom Brady flexed on Bruce Arians. Now, Arians has to put up with this ish. So, of course, he's a little bit angry about it, right? But in the matter of AB, I am going to refrain from doing anything like, oh, what an idiot. He ruined his shot and this and that. I don't have the first damn clue what happened on that sideline. And people, even publications I work with, are putting out headlines thinking they know. They don't know. I'm not going to call out names, but publications I work with have put out headlines on social media as if they knew better to protect Antonio Brown. And we don't know any of that. No. We don't know.
I heard everything from the pay situation, incentive pay situation to a racial thing. And come on. That's low hanging.
Whoever said the racial thing is just flat out trying for clicks.
Again, and that's low hanging fruit.
Right.
So I don't play in that shit. But there is something going on there. We can agree that for the last 3 years, his offseason issues, his last year in Pittsburgh, how that went down, then everything with in Oakland, with the Raiders, and then now what's transpired now in the last, with Tampa. We can say, I mean, a lot of people always mark the hit he took from Vontaze Burfict back in the playoff game as the starting point. Everything went down. I don't know.
It's not the starting point. That's what everybody's getting wrong. Like Ryan Clark on the air has said, listen, this is a guy who was about me and had an ego situation long before he got his bigger contract in Pittsburgh. Okay. So Vontaze Burfict, and I don't want to act like I'm saying it's definitively one thing that he's a prima donna. Oh, wait, wide receivers as prima donnas? That's never happened before, right? Like history's marked with them. Hell, it's a personality trait to be expected, okay? You want a guy that wants the ball like that. That's why he's going to go get it, So I'm not saying that as a negativity thing, but rather an observation of the personality trait of not just Antonio Brown, but literally every wide receiver. The most humble, big-name wide receiver I can think of is Jerry Rice, and he ran his mouth on occasion. Let's be clear. Mm-hmm. So I say all of the above to say he had, selfish tendencies back then. it's not necessarily, I wouldn't feed this to my dog as a statement to a caterer like Randy Moss said, sort of things, but maybe things of that ilk. Like I said, I'm not around him, but that's what came out. And then, say what you will, maybe he was a bit stirred by the fact that the Rooneys picked Roethlisberger over him in Pittsburgh. Whatever, The CTE thing is interesting as something that could be exacerbating it. I'm not here to rule everything out, but here's the thing. That too is all speculation, right? Correlation is not causation. And unfortunately, the state of the art right now is that we won't be able to examine that until after he's dead, which will be a long way off, because this is a healthy human being we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. But regardless what the reason is, I think at this point, if I am Roger Goodell, I'm pulling the plug on this guy. I'm saying, listen, you're suspended indefinitely. I'm not going to say permanently. I'm going to say indefinitely. It's probably permanently, but I'm going to say indefinitely. And until I get a full workup from somebody on your psychological profile, we're not even going to discuss reinstatement. Because at this point, there's no way NFL football could be helpful to this man and his psyche if he truly is a mental health patient, so to speak.
Right. You know what's sad too? Also, I don't know where you would have placed him in the all-time pecking order of all-time great receivers, but he was well on his way being one of the best we've ever seen in this game. It got a fantastic route runner, impact player. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and ask you to rank him prior to all this stuff happening, but he was well on his way being one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, I mean, when he was on, he could compete with DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's fair. But by the same token, it's really hard to evaluate a guy who's done what he has bouncing around teams, being a bit of an issue. I mean, this is more of a distraction than anything Terrell Owens did. People have compared these guys, and you're just out of your gourd,
Terrell Owens, it was just the guy get along with him in the locker room once in a while, just a little bit of a, whatever, but he wasn't, harmful.
He wasn't actively disrupting. Yeah, maybe it could be argued he was a bit of a, cancerous element in the whole Donovan McNabb situation. Yeah. But I've heard plenty that makes McNabb as big of the problem as Owens too. Right. So, here's what I know in that Tom Brady's saying what he said and he's getting all this praise. No, Tom Brady is doing two things. A, he's protecting his best weapon, other than Mike Evans perhaps, or maybe he is better than Mike Evans. I don't know. Depends on who you ask. But coming in for Godwin, he needs another good weapon to assure success. Tom Brady's protecting that, and that he's also protecting his reputation as the guy who's brought him in at two different stops, who's campaigned for the guy, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I point this out, and I was told, well, I don't know if I could be that cynical. Okay, but it's facts or it's not. And right. Those things are both accurate.
Right.
Now, do I actually think that Tom Brady really is his friend and wants him to get better? Absolutely. But let's not act like Tom saying the right thing isn't in his best interest to protect himself and AB.
Right. Let's also coaching rumors here. Matt Nagy out of Chicago. That's been the rumors last week and a half. That's picking up steam. Your thoughts? Nagy?
He's out like a fat kid in dodgeball, and it's a goddamn crime. Okay, this is a guy that got Mitch Trubisky in the Pro Bowl. I've met Mitch Trubisky, and the only reason why that was possible is Matt Nagy. You know how I know? He's just a backup at his next job. With as much as there's a starving need for quarterbacks all over this league, and if Mitch Trubisky was that good, he'd have a starting job somewhere else. End of story. Case closed. You're trying to tell me that the Texans wouldn't have thrown money at him? Hell, they threw it at Brock Osweiler historically. Why wouldn't they do that with Trubisky if he was such a good quarterback? What about in Denver? They needed a good quarterback. Did John Elway go after Mitch Trubisky? No, he did not, right? What about over in, I don't know. What's another good example? The Jets wouldn't count. They got a rookie. I'm going to come up with another one, damn it. What is it? It's
too talented not to.
What's that?
You're too talented not to.
I'm too talented. Minnesota at some point would be looking for a guy, or are they that tied to Kirk Cousins? I don't know, right? At some point, Mitch Trubisky would have a job somewhere else. If Baker Mayfield was so injured that badly, and Mitch Trubisky was so good, you're going to try to tell me that they wouldn't let Baker sit and sign a 1 year with Trubisky that he would take over being a backup in Buffalo? No, that wouldn't happen. Anyway.
Now, I'm not going to sit on a sofa of Nagy and say he deserves, like, he should be this, he should be protected at all costs. I do think it feels a little knee-jerk, though, in the case of the Bears. Like, he's been in 4 years, went to the playoffs twice with that guy as his quarterback. I mean, come on now. I mean, you have to at some point give him some sort of credit there. I'm not saying that he deserves extension, but I'm saying that that's kind of like be a little logical here. I mean, he led this guy to 2 playoff appearances.
Right.
Earski or whatever the hell his name is, or
Just
and say what you will, like he's had more big wins, as Batman fighting the Joker than the Cowboys had this year. Anyways, and by the way, the Bears making the playoff twice with Trubisky or whatever his name is, with the Packers and Charlie Rodgers on the schedule. So that's 2 losses a year guaranteed, right? Hey, try making the playoffs down 2 games from snap number 1. Go.
Right. No, I'm excited. I think if you ask me, I think he deserves another chance to right the wrong. But you know what? Bears fans are, I guess, not logical. I guess
idiots. They're idiots.
Sticking with coaching, and this has a coaching player connection to it, possibly, even say GM. Rumors are that the Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll partnership is likely over after this weekend.
Yes.
The big question of the room is this, though: who's when it goes? Is Russell Wilson get traded away from the Seattle Seahawks, or does Pete Carroll get fired / quit / mutual parting, that kind of thing? How do you think this plays out in the offseason?
I think Pete Carroll's he's the easy one to let go too, right? He's been proven. The scuttlebutt on him is that he's old and out of touch. I've been writing stuff about him since 2012, talking about his horrible clock management skill. The wins he's most famous for ain't occurred lately. Other than maybe the Fail Mary. That might be a thing. But like, since the Legion of Boom is no more, just all you got to do is look at the Adams, the Jamal Adams situation. You opted to give up the bank for a safety when you've needed a left tackle for years. And the guy that you just paid more so he would stay in Seattle is the one you're not protecting. You're either telling me one of 2 things: that Pete Carroll's already been selected and they're preparing for life without Russell Wilson, which is Pete Carroll starting to build on the defensive side of the ball, or Pete Carroll's making stupid moves and has hung himself as far as trying to make it past this year. You and I said it on the Huddle Up podcast, EJ, that the correct move is to keep Russell Wilson, and it's not close. A Hall of Fame caliber quarterback that has got at least 3-4 years on the docket, if not more.
And really good years. That's really good years. Like
mobile years. Like I can still run and escape because I'm Russell bleeping Wilson, because I'm the nerd answer. I'm the closest juxtaposition to the Marvel universe to Spider-Man as you're going to find in the NFL.
Right.
At quarterback.
You know my logic, man. To me, when you got a guy like Russell Wilson, a guy like, Brady in his prime anyway, and, Aaron Rodgers, and you name it, Pat Mahomes.
Brady in his prime never ran like this. That is not a good comparison.
No, I'm saying something like this, the quarterback play in general. My logic is those guys get you 8 wins at least, bottom 8 wins. And then however good your team is around that, add on more wins depending on how good your team is moving forward. Russell Wilson is still.
Other than their personality, how are Aaron Charlie Rodgers and Rusty any different?
Yeah, I agree.
They're both guys who complete passes. They're very accurate. They move their football. They lead their teams. And they're capable of leading both their squads and have in rushing yards.
Right. Just saying. But the move for me here is probably for them to clean house the GM, clean house with the coach. I mean, Pete Carroll, I've been saying for a couple of years now, he's been stale. You've been saying Pete Carroll wasn't the answer way back as early as 2013, 2012.
That's accurate.
So, Hey, it is what it
Ever
is.
since he made the worst, at the very least, since he and his staff made the worst offensive play call in Super Bowl history. Which, by the way, side note there, EJ, the acting interim head coach in Jacksonville, same guy, Coach Bevel.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other NFL newsy stuff out there that I forgot? I'm trying to look at anything else like this newsy. Well, the Washington football team announced the new name on February 2nd.
See, all that's going to do is disappoint me, so I tried to avoid this topic. The answer is the Red Tails. Make them the damn Red Tails. Make it the Red Tails. Make it the Red Tails. Okay? You take a team whose name was deemed racist against a native part of American history. Okay? Well, take the opportunity, pay tribute to somebody who helped, to an entity who helped American history, and pay tribute to people of color by referencing the Tuskegee Airmen, a.k.a. the Red Tails. It writes itself, people.
Nah, we've always liked the name also, too. I actually didn't mind the WFT thing for a little bit. I started getting used to it. I mean, I say I wanted to stay.
It still makes me say WTF.
Yeah. Here's one. Joe Burrow is not playing on Sunday. His knee is fine, but he's resting for the playoffs. Now, not that I say it's a bad idea, but technically the Bengals can still move up in the seedings.
To where exactly?
Actually, it's high as number one because if all three teams lose, Pats, Texans, Titans, and Patriots, not Patriots, Chiefs lose this weekend and they win, they are number one seed in the AFC.
Okay, so let's remember who are they playing? Who's playing what? The Texans are playing the Titans.
Right. So that's
and who are your Chiefs playing? I'm sure you know as a fan.
Saturday.
Say what?
On Saturday, the Broncos.
So, if you are the Bengals, do you put Joe Burrow out there, who's been sacked quite a bit, or yeah, come on, that's all adorable, but no. And this is a group, like, they've had a lot of hard-fought games, okay? And all it takes is one hard-fought game too many, and you end up as the Baltimore Ravens, who are now, clawing for life to stay in the playoff picture, a team that I picked as a Super Bowl contender in the preseason, I might add. Mm-hmm. And now all of you want to crap on not you, EJ, but crap on the Ravens for going for 2 at the end of games when they're down 1 without any context for what their actual situation is.
Right.
The move doesn't bother me at all.
Right. Here's another one. Oh, here's one I want to talk about a little bit. We touched on this last night too on the Hello podcast. There's a voter by the name of Hub Urkush, MVP voter, who publicly came out and said that he would not vote for Aaron Rodgers because he's a bad guy based on the stuff with the COVID stuff. He's been saying all that, and all that. Of course, he got lambasted across the board. He's now saying it was a mistake. Now he says he acknowledges it was a big mistake for him to talk about his MVP voting plans. Well, first off, you're an idiot for even coming out and saying anything in the first place because the vote should be secret, But it's my opinion. It's my opinion. But all in all, if you can't separate the football player versus what political or whatever bullshit off-field thing that's not even like attached to like murder or assault and that situation, you got a problem there.
Yeah, no. This is obviously a horrible thing. Granted, this isn't as bad as Gary Washburn. I think his name's Gary Washburn. I always get it wrong.
It was Gary Washburn.
Right, but the writer that kept it from making LeBron the unanimous MVP when he was still with the Heat. I forget what year that is.
13, and he voted for Carmelo Anthony.
Which was an asinine pick too, by the way.
Oh no, Carmelo, because Carmelo had a great year. That's probably his best year in the league.
But he was not the MVP that year.
That year, LeBron should have been MVP.
And well, the other thing that makes it dumb is Washburn claimed it was because of LeBron's performance against Carmelo. Carmelo was not on the floor in any of the games where the Heat played the Knicks that year. check it. Or if it was only one of them and there was no pure dominance.
Right.
It's been a while since I've talked about it, but it's something like that. And the point is, why do I bring up a Boston Celtic fan talking about a Heat player not getting a unanimous vote? That's a great question, EJ. I thought you would like me bringing up some basketball as an alleged basketball analyst, which you don't claim to be an analyst, but you are, and it's weird. But if I were to ask you,
So stupid.
now you know the answer now, but if before all this, if I were to ask you what city would it be appropriate that he's from, you would inevitably say either Minneapolis or Chicago. Sure as hell, ladies and gentlemen. Say the gentleman's name again, because I'm not trying to remember it.
Feelings. These writers and their feelings.
His name is Feelings?
It might as well be feelings. Hub Arkush.
Yes. A Chicago sports writer. Listen, buddy, okay? If you can't look past that, you're horrible at your job. Your mistake isn't talking about the vote. I mean, talking about your MVP vote, hinting at people you're thinking about voting, it's all in how you word it. If he said, yeah, I'm not doing it because of this, you're wrong. It's like, I've been thinking about it, and while Rodgers is in the discussion, I don't know that I can necessarily vote for him because he's a bad guy, but we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll change my mind. That's all he has to do.
Mm-hmm.
You would think somebody whose job in life is media could communicate well. I know. Tall ask. I was on a radio show and I was on the man. Stop it. So, anyways,
Narcissist.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to the.
If I'm calling you a narcissist, you done effed up.
Yeah. So let's get to the. I guess the locks. One thing else though. Let's lock up the. Who gets what seed going forward now? So there's still things pending. Like most teams are in the playoffs now. There's still obviously some teams still playing to get in, but for the most part, most of the teams are in the top seven in their respective conference are in the playoffs already. So let's get to the seed. Okay, hold on, sorry about that. Broke it. Here we go. So right now, okay, let's go to the NFC first. This is a little more defined. So right now,
a lot more defined.
Way more defined. Your NFC right now is number one seed for Green Bay Packers, right? Number one seed clinched. Okay. 2 is the Rams. 3 the Bucks. 4 the Cowboys. Okay. Now the Bucks, Rams, and Cowboys have not locked up their official seeding as yet. The Rams can hold on number 2 with a win. The Bucks can obviously get to number 2 with a win and a Rams loss. The Cowboys, I believe, can still get as high as 3. I believe. I don't think 2's in play anymore for them. But there's still questions there.
There's tie breaks with the Bucks that are an issue there because they're head to head.
Right, exactly. Then right now your wild card is the Arizona Cardinals. The Niners right now currently are the 6th seed. The Eagles are the 7th seed. However, the Niners have not clinched their playoff spot as yet. And by virtue of the optics, it's gonna be tough because they play the Rams, who's still playing for something, and they need to not lose that game because if the Saints win, who play the Falcons this weekend, the Saints will clinch a playoff spot if they win and the Niners lose. So that the optics there will tell you that the Saints have a good chance of getting the last spot, but we'll see what happens there. Cardinals as well too also can also get to, if the Rams lose, Cardinals win, they can also win division as well too and get I believe as high as a 3 seed, I believe, depending on how things work out. So I guess at this point, let's predict how the playoff bracket on the NFC will look on Sunday night. Go.
Exactly like it does now. No,
okay.
So yeah, I have the first 5 teams staying the way they are. I don't see the Rams losing to the 49ers, and I think that's the only thing that would cause a big change.
Right.
The Niners, yeah, I mean, the Eagles could get bounced out, but I don't see the Niners being the team that would be replacing them based on what I've said right here. So, Say again?
We mean bounced out of the playoffs?
Well, right now they're listed.
The Eagles are in though. However,
yeah, sorry, yeah, the Eagles are in. Right? This is so confusing. I'm sorry.
The reason they're in because of tiebreakers, but they can still be the 7th seed depending on how things work out. It goes high as the 6th seed, of course, because of seeding. But they're in the playoffs officially.
Right. The Niners, I again, while I wax poetic that it would be all 4 teams, the irony is that it's harder in the NFC West, and because of that, the 49ers will get knocked out. All the stuff college football fans say about the SEC killing themselves and preventing themselves from getting higher, that's what you're actually seeing here in the 49ers. The fraud cons will also fail to do their jobs, so the Saints will be allowed to sneak in, much to my chagrin.
Right.
As obviously, by the way, a team with a losing record,
Right.
which, I don't exactly understand that, but there you go. Well, they're not technically. They don't have a losing record yet. They'll have a winning. They'll have a winning record by the time they get through Sunday.
All right.
Long and the short, I'm saying all this. The Saints are going to get in. That's what I'm telling you.
All right. There's still a cluster. There's still much of a cluster in the AFC, however, right now. Okay. So right now, as we sit here, your division leaders, and right now seeding wise, 1 through 4, the Tennessee Titans right now number 1 seed, followed by the Chiefs, the Bengals at 3, the Bills at 4. 5 through 7 right now are the Patriots, the Colts, and the Chargers. Okay, and then of course the Raiders right now are hanging out there with as the number 8, but they play the Chargers this weekend. If they beat the Chargers, they get in automatically. The Steelers and the Ravens still have a puncher's chance, but they need a big punch. First of all, they got to win their game number 1 and need lots of help to get into the playoffs.
Right.
Okay. Obviously, no one's locked in their seeding as yet because outside the Bengals in the division and the Chiefs in the division. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Seeding hasn't been established yet because these teams can still move around when it's all said and done. The Titans, if they win this weekend, they push them 1 seed. Chiefs get number 1 seed if the Titans lose and they win their game. The Bengals could actually get number 1 seed if the Bills, Chiefs, and Titans all lose. The Bills, of course, can get it also if the Titans and Chiefs lose as well, too. So it's a lot of mix and match
parts.
And then the wild card, too, especially, too. Because the Pats win and the Bills lose, the Pats win the division, and the Bills go down to the wild card. The Colts, if they win, they're in. As I said, the Raiders and Chargers will figure out the situation going forward. There is also a scenario where if the Colts somehow lose and the Raiders and Chargers tie, the Raiders and Chargers get in and the Colts are out. So there's a lot of weirdness here hanging around the AFC. So let's make this easier and simple right now on the Stu Game Report. How will this bracket look at the end of Sunday night?
So everybody that I see in the top 4 seeds has really easy games, relatively speaking, to finish out, right? The Titans are going to beat the Texans. The Chiefs are going to beat the Broncos. Or not they do have the Broncos, right?
Cool.
The Bengals are going to beat the Browns.
Even without Joe Burrow?
What's that?
Even without Joe Burrow?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the other reason why I believe they're pulling him out.
Could be. We'll say last time they played, the Bengals, the Browns blew them out. But I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, I'll put it this way. And the Browns are still kind of.
Browns are out.
Yeah, the Browns are out. That's right. I had to think about that.
The only teams in this race, the Ravens, the Steelers, and the look at the Dolphins. Dolphins are out too. The Steelers and the Ravens. That's it. It's only 3 teams left that are in it. That's not in the bracket early.
Right. I feel like the Bengals could still beat the Browns. Yeah, I know what happened last time. I don't care. The Bills will beat the Jets.
Yeah, so that will hold.
And the Pats will beat the Dolphins. Yeah, I know about, but historically, blah, 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 Miami, whatever. Okay, this is a different era. Those ratings do not apply.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we'll leave that at that. That's not to say that the Dolphins won't do something amazing, but they're in such mental disarray now, and they're going to come out so flat, like there's nothing to play for anymore. Where's the magic?
And it's all about this offseason about Tua and all that, definitely. So
right, correct.
I'm sure you and I will discuss a lot about that in February, March, moving forward. So
yeah, exactly. And then going down there, and I think everything holds. The only thing that might change is the Raiders might win and get their way into the playoffs, which would be
frisky.
Weird. Yeah, no, they listen, I get it. For a team, they started so strong. Really, You know, and I really wish I kept. I don't know what happened to my sheet. I'm going to tear my office apartment here at some point. But I think I had the Raiders winning 10 games, which ironically they're only one game short of doing right now. So
You got to tip your cap to the Raiders, though. Really, honestly, with the way the season went. I mean, they started off solid, which obviously was good, and then the John Gruden thing happens, and then the thing with the was it Ruggs his name, the receiver Ruggs.
yeah, Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, he basically blows his career because of the accident,
DUI, right?
the DUI and all that. Okay, and it goes sideways a little while, and then they somehow figure it out. You know, they get some wins against Dallas and some weird wins, and they beat Indy this weekend, and all of a sudden they hang around up to now they're in a position now where they're at number one, they're at home on Sunday.
Yeah.
They're dogs though, but at home in a position to make the playoffs. So, you know, you got. I mean, I know the Raiders aren't that good. I mean, we've knocked them a couple times the last couple of weeks about all these guys, whatever. But they're here. They're hanging around here, and they have a chance to. They control their own destiny. They win. They're in.
Let me once again state the importance of schedules in the NFL, and the Raiders once again are proof that a weak schedule can help you. Right, Pats fan? Right, Chiefs fan? Sorry.
Right, Dolphins fan, Giants fan, Brady fan, Cowboys fan. Well, what am I missing? I have like 40-something teams ago.
Titans fan?
No, not Titans fan. No. Titans defender, not a fan.
Give it time.
Derrick Henry fan, I'll say that.
No, Derrick Henry's good. Just not as good as Dalvin Cook, FSU fan.
Right.
Still shouldn't be allowed to use rock memes.
Shut up. Go Heat, bitch.
That's a YouTube video, so I can let that pass.
Yeah. So, and who'd you pick in that game, Raiders and
I was hoping you wouldn't make me. I'm going to pick the Chargers, but I mean David Carr's been playing really good too. Actually, the real takeaway from Vegas, I hope Las Vegas fans have given Derek Carr a Christmas card apologizing for their ill treatment of this man throughout the past season. You know, just throwing that out there.
So, okay. So, it's going to be an interesting, basically what you have here is, for the most part, this thing holds chalk.
Well, there's a lot of chalk, except for the very bottom.
Cisco, except for, no, that's it. San Francisco, that's the only one.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of chalk here. And again, the schedule's dictating that.
Yeah, the schedule's definitely break good for all these teams. All right, last thing before we go. We do have the national championship game on coming up next week. Next time we talk, we'll obviously have a chance to review of that. Bama, Georgia. Georgia is right now a 3-point favorite, which is, I guess, weird because these teams literally just played a month ago, and Alabama blew doors off that game in the SEC title game. So, what is the logic here by Vegas? I don't get that.
Listen, man, you're the degenerate. If you don't know, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they're tanking for this game for this. I don't know. I mean, these two teams. Georgia looked really impressive against Michigan. That was a big takeaway of the weekend for last week. You know, Bama did their job, of course. I mean, that was actually relatively a competitive game to the fourth quarter. But I don't know. I saw nothing in that game that made me feel like Bama could lose that game again. Maybe a competitive game this time, but that's what I see.
I'll see this. I'll say this. What they might be seeing, there's some statistician or something who has some sort of a qualifier or some sort of a, modifier out there in his stats to account for turnovers. And because Georgia's defense is what it is, there's a higher chance that they get takeaways. But what I'm going to tell you up front, EJ Christian, is that there are not going to be very many takeaways in this game. Right. So that being said, I'm going to say it like I said it on Huddle Up the other night. Bing! It's going to come down to a single question, Ernest Christian. Who are you more likely to bet against, Kirby Smart or Nick Saban? You have my answer.
Yep, mine too. I guarantee you have the same answer. So,
Jim Harbaugh?
So, anyway, I guess plug away for now. We're gonna have the next time we do this report, we'll be in the playoffs, and we'll be doing
Playoffs.
Yeah, what we'll be doing with the report for the next couple of weeks, especially next week, we did it for the midterms, which I thought was one of the best episodes we've done this year. Doing grades for each team. By the way, you did a great job with that. I actually listened back to that recently. Recently it was like, wow, just on the cuff, just like, the whole thing was really good. We're going to do that again. Final letter grades for the teams that did not make the playoffs. And then every week leading up to Super Bowl week, we're going to do it. The teams that get eliminated, we'll give them letter grades well too, and go from there. And yeah, so it should be a fun time on Football's Awesome Podcast. Kyle, plug away.
Always an honor, joy, and privilege to join you here. Why is that, EJ Christian? Because football is awesome. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my work with the3pointconversion.com, as well as anything UCF, football, basketball, or otherwise at the Black and Gold Banneret. I actually have a game I'm covering tonight.
Nice.
UCF and Temple's coming to town, I believe. More American Athletic Conference play. Pretty good. Listen, an underappreciated conference for basketball in the college arena, man. Look at Houston doing things, being nationally ranked pretty high, and Temple gave them a run the other night. Pretty close game there, too. And, oh, by the way, Anthony Hardaway, Juwan Howard among coaches within this conference,
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, UCF basketball, fools. Check it out. I will be writing that for the Black and Gold Banneret. Of course, you guys like your movie stuff, and if you want to know if a movie is required viewing, just come out and check out the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel for the Hilarity by Default podcast with my friend, Demosthenes Euclid. There you go, EJ.
Yeah.
I heard that Jim said he checked out the Christmas Vacation episode. Have you yet, sir?
I did not.
Step your game up.
I promise I will watch it tonight.
No, I don't often fawn over individual episodes, but this one turned out pretty good. Damon said
when I watch the Hillary Default, I go through like a binge. I'll go like a couple hours in there because I remember I think during the summer I watched like a bunch of the Major League stuff and went through some of the things you're doing there. I was like, wow, this is good.
Still don't believe Demosthenes didn't name Major League as required viewing. What a dork. Anyway.
Hey, everybody has different tastes. What can I say?
Yes, and his obviously sucks. Anyways, see,
wow!
Don't know for a fact.
In at any time.
Wow.
Just so you know for a fact, EJ, I don't just focus on you. I go after everybody who's
I know. Everybody gets a piece of your ass. I know.
And of course, check out my work with oldschool101.com, ASMBM Sports, my friend Captain Chris Hill. And of course, thank you once again, EJ. Honor, joy, and privilege. But until next time, class dismissed.
All right, it's week number 18 of EJ versus Degenerate Men Back. Degenerate, of course. We now are tied. If you want, actually, we tied this week, so technically, I am still up a game. I think.
How are you up a game?
I was up a game last week.
No, we were tied last week.
Let me make sure. Hold on. Let's go.
We were tied last week. This was a week you were about to take a lead.
Okay, I'll read those seconds. So one.
Oh my gosh.
I got it down here. Hold on a second. It's for the listeners. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, you're right. You're right. That's correct. We tied by half point because I had the over on the Browns Steelers game last night at 40.5.
Oh,
It hit 40.
damn.
You had Pittsburgh all outright.
Yeah, and I mean, pretty good call.
Pretty good call. Big Ben, at least in Pittsburgh. So that goes. All right, let's get the picks here. This schedule looks kind of up and down because a lot of these games are just throwaway games. Some of these games do matter, so it's gonna be interesting to see how these.
They all still matter.
If you're a game,
draft order matters.
Absolutely. Just the fans. Let's get the first. They got 2 games on Saturday. Let's go there first. We have the Kansas City Chiefs heading to Denver to face the Broncos. The Chiefs are 10-point favorites. The over/under is 44 points. Chiefs Bengals game of the year, right? Gotta be up there.
It's certainly up there. I mean, the Chiefs Baltimore game was a game of the year type game. So,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna take the over in the Chiefs game. That is a ton of points against a division rival who would love nothing more than to keep you from having any chance at home field advantage.
And the Chiefs don't only need to win this game; they need Tennessee to lose. Also on top of that, so a lot of work can be done. I'm taking Kansas City to take care of business here and to cover 10 points. Honestly, I think last week I think they're seeding to get a win. So there's that. All right, and then the second Saturday night game here, we have the Dallas Cowboys heading to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. The Cowboys are 7.5-point favorites. The over/under is 42.5. The Eagles, I think the Eagles could actually technically improve their wild card seeding here. A little surprised at the big spread, though. A little surprised. That big spread in Philadelphia.
Yeah, with Philly needing it to improve their status.
Right.
No, but to improve who they play. I mean, yeah, it's a huge spread, but I'm gonna go with just the over again. I'm not gonna pick either team.
I'm gonna go under actually.
Really?
That's they know something. I know the last game was a lot more high scoring, but I don't know. Dallas obviously hasn't been all that great the last couple of weeks either. Other than that Washington game, but we know how bad Washington is now. So
yeah, exactly.
By the way, we'll get to it in a second because they announced something today. Next game here, Battle Ohio one more time. The Bengals heading to Cleveland to face the Browns. The Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. The over/under is 42 points. As I said, the Bengals clinched the AFC North. Who saw that coming? Wow.
Dude, that was the best money you could bet. Could you imagine that? Those 4 teams, and you preseason, you take them just to win their division?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be so sweet.
We knew they improved this year, but we didn't think this is going to happen.
Hey, that is going to be one fierce quarterback wide receiver combo for years.
Yeah, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. The Browns making me feel out for this game. Which actually might be a good thing, I guess. I don't know. But the Browns have questions to answer this offseason. But honestly, they can't do anything at this point because the best thing you can do is just keep on the roster.
Yeah, for the price, you would. And maybe you even find his replacement or you attempt in the draft, but at least there's less pressure.
Yeah, because year 5, don't need to pay him any extra money. Obviously he's not that great. And, at best case scenario, you franchise him next year. Who knows?
That's true.
Anyway, I'm taking Cincinnati to cover the spread because they can still they're actually technically in the race for number 1 seed. If New England, Tennessee, and KC all lose this weekend and they beat Cleveland, the 1 seed is in the jungle, baby.
Yeah, except one of those teams is playing Jacksonville.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm taking Cincy to cover 2.
Right, okay. Next game here, we have the Green Bay Packers heading to Detroit to face the Lions. The Packers are 20-point favorites. The over/under is 42 points. Green Bay has already wrapped up the number 1 seed in the NFC. We've heard this many times before in the past. This team does feel different, though, from the last 10 years. So this team's more balanced. This team has a defense, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to be the be-all, end-all. I'm suspecting that because the spread is low because they're going to bench their starters this week.
Yeah.
Of course, Aaron
There's no way Rodgers starts.
Yeah, plus there's toe issues, so.
And Adams isn't going to play. I'd expect a running back to sit.
Give me the over, though.
The over? No. Ernest, we just told you everybody is being benched.
No?
Take the under.
Okay.
Detroit can't score. Green Bay can't score with backups.
We'll see. Next game here, we have Chicago Bears heading to Minnesota to face the Vikings. The Bears, the Vikings rather, are 2.5-point favorites. The over/under is 44.5. Obviously, both teams not in the playoff race anymore. Minnesota, I expect this to be Mike Zimmer's last game. The Bears here. I think the Bears win this game, actually.
No, will Kirk Cousins start?
I don't. I mean, he didn't play last week, so there's no
See,
play.
that's the only question. Because, yeah, it's going to be Zimmer's last start. So if Cousins is available, I would take the Vikings. But if he's not, I'm taking the Bears. So
I mean, that's why would you start him at this point? Risk injury.
either way, I'm going to take the under.
Oh, give me Chicago. Chicago actually ends the year on a high note. All right, it's our game at the end of the year. The Washington football team heading to New York to face the Giants. The Washington football team are 6.5 point favorites. The over-under is 38.5. We got word today that this will be the last game as the football team. We'll know their name on February 2nd of this year. Excited about that?
Yeah, it might be a little easier to talk about my team, other than to refer to them as the Redskins
Or WTF?
Washington.
Or WTF?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's what I can say about the season.
Yeah, both these teams really. The Giants are the worst team in football. They played if the Jaguars or anybody else right now, they would lose that game.
No.
Why do you know?
You know Jacksonville is worse.
No, I think the Giants will do.
Yes.
In any case, I think the under is a lock here. 3.5. Giants can't score for shit. Come on, you know that.
Come on. I thought this would be the game that decides it. We both go, for our home team.
Oh wait, so okay? You know what? Were you gonna go Washington to cover?
Yeah.
You know what? Just for the sake of the argument, I'll go Giants on the points here. This for the fuck of it.
All right.
Who
This
knows?
is gonna be the one that decides who buys who dinner.
And it's funny. This could be the game. Yeah, let's say we're tied, and this is the one game. This could be it. Who knows? You know what? I'll try to pick up. I'll put the Giants here. This for the sake of argument. All right, next game here we have the Indianapolis Colts heading to Jacksonville to face the Jaguars. The Colts are 16-point favorites. The over/under is 44.5. Dude, 16-point favorite on the road. That is sick.
Was Urban Meyer the problem? Holy cow. I mean, holy cow. They're worse off than they were.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. In that case, I'm still taking the Colts to cover. I don't care.
Same here.
These win too.
I mean, they're technically playing for something.
No, they win, they're in. So, yeah. Absolutely. All right, next game here we have the Pittsburgh Steelers heading to Baltimore and face the Ravens. The Ravens right now are 5.5 point favorites. The over/under is 42 points. Lamar Jackson, I believe, might actually play this game. I don't know why you start him at this point. Risk injury for the long term. Both teams still technically in the race, but need lots of help.
Yeah.
Give me the under in this game.
And I'm with you. I want to see Lamar play, but they need everything in the world to happen for them to make it into the playoffs. So, I feel bad for the kid.
I do too. And not only that, I think Huntley's good enough to actually, let's say things do fall in place for him. Huntley's actually good enough now to get into the playoffs. He's been playing very well. Well, not last game, but
Yeah.
overall.
He had a good game.
Yeah.
He had one good game.
Right. Well, 2 good games. He had another good game. Green Bay and then the other one. There was 2 he had actually. It was pretty good.
All right.
Yeah. But I'm taking the under in this game anyway.
Same here.
All right. Next game here we have the Tennessee Titans heading to Houston to face the Texans. The Titans are 10-point favorites. The over/under is 42.5. The Titans win. They are the number 1 seed. Derrick Henry may not play this game, but he is coming to practice on Wednesday. Just the fact Derrick Henry is on the way back, and now we're seeing proof of that now, and they get the bye week most likely to win this game. The AFC is wide open, and Tennessee with a bye week and Derrick Henry back in the lineup. Call me crazy. This is why they jumped in my power rankings this week, because they went from not being in the rankings from number 10 to number 5, because Derrick Henry changes the scope of the entire conference.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing. He's only coming back from what should be a season-ending injury.
Right.
Let's not pretend like he's going to be playing at 100 and like week 8. Okay?
Right.
That's not going to happen. It's going to be more like week 1 after the preseason.
Right. That's what I think the bye week will help us also too to get some reps in practice. Coach of the year. I mean, I know people are assaulting Tennessee, and I get it. People don't trust Tennessee. They don't trust Tannehill. But they're in this spot right now, man. Mike Vrabel. I mean, they win this game, they're number 1 seed. I mean, do you have to I mean, seriously?
Well, you do. Because, if the Bills win, the Pats have no chance. They're out of the division, so.
Right.
You're praising Belichick on a wild card team.
Right.
So, yeah, Vrabel is probably AFC, so.
The only person I can consider as coach of the year is Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. That's it.
Yeah.
No one saw this shit coming with the Bengals. Come on now. In any case, give me the Titans to cover the spread. Houston's bad. Let's go. Tennessee smells blood.
I'm taking the under in this game.
Really?
Yeah. Tennessee will probably cover, but it could be like a 20-3 game.
Interesting. Okay. Next game here, we have the New Orleans Saints heading to Atlanta face the Falcons. The Saints are 4-point favorites. The over/under is 40 points. The Saints are still in it. They still have a chance. I mean, although they're not the one to win one. They're the one that needs help, right? Yes.
Oh, they need all the help in the world.
It is the champion to lose. That's all they need.
I thought okay, maybe
Because Minnesota's out. All the other teams that was like in that, on a bubble, all gone now. Houston, Atlanta's gone too. So, I mean, Sean Payton. I mean, another coach of the year. Possibility. No, I'm not saying he would, but like with all the shit they've gone through this year, and then again, it's a 7 seed. Oh my God. You don't think so, Sean Payton? He's on the list.
Yeah, he's on the list. He's a top 5 candidate, but I mean that defense is so good.
I agree. Say right now, the AFC right now, his NFC right now, it's real. Yeah, Minnesota's done. Yeah, it's between San Francisco and the Saints. That's it. Everybody else is a game behind the Saints. So, that being said, give me the over this game.
The over. I'll take the Saints to cover.
Oh wow, really in Atlanta?
Yes.
Who's the quarterback? Ian Buck still?
Dude, this defense will win the game.
Okay.
So if the offense can put up 6 points,
right,
I think they'll cover.
Right. All right. Next game here, we have New York Jets heading to Buffalo to face the Bills. The Bills are 16.5-point favorites. The over/under is 43. Bills win this game. They win the division. A lot of points though for the division rival. I know Jets aren't I know Jets are bad, but it's a lot of points. Give me Jets of the points here.
No.
Division rival. Let's spoil shit a little bit.
This is a tune-up game for the playoffs. This is where you fine-tune things and you put a beat down on the Jets to end your season and make a statement. This is not going to be close.
You don't think the Jets actually have a, like...
No!
Dude, they almost beat Tampa this past weekend. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and so now the Bills are going to come out, having taken that seriously, and be up 21-3 in the first quarter.
Okay. Well, so you got the Bills to cover, right?
Yep.
Zach, it's not comfortable, okay? All right, next game here. We have the New England Patriots heading to Miami to face the Dolphins. The Pats are 6.5-point favorites. The over/under is 40 points. Dolphins, of course. Man, I feel bad for this team. This team literally opened the day the control no destiny situation, and in the span of 4 hours, out of playoffs completely.
Yeah.
Just like that. They lose against Tennessee. All the tiebreakers they need to stand up in the event they lost Tennessee, all went against them. That's sick. Pats, obviously, you said with the Bills that the Pats need to win and get help. for the Jets. That's like imminent. You need a lot of help there. But I like Miami on pride here to cover 6.5 points. On pride.
Ooh.
They always, well, you know the history of these teams.
I know. But, I mean, Mac Jones, he's been struggling 2 out of the last 3 weeks.
You play well this week.
Yeah. But the week before, he had, 4 interceptions?
Against, not Indy, against Buffalo.
So,
I
don't know if it's going to be close if the Pats, because the Pats are going to win, but I think it's going to be really low scoring. Really low scoring.
You go under?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got 4 more games here. The Carolina Panthers heading to Tampa Bay to face the Buccaneers. The Bucs are 8-point favorites. The over-under is 41.5. I'm a little shocked the spread's a little low, but Tampa can still improve. Tampa's what, the 3 seed, right? Or the 2 seed? The 3 seed, right? Hold on.
I believe the 3 seed.
Yeah, the 3 seed. So they can technically improve their chances here if the Rams lose in the conference. You know what I'm saying? So I'm surprised that the line's as low as it is. In any case, give me Tampa to cover 8 points. Carolina sucks.
Well, I think the fear for Tampa is they could lose another important weapon because AB's gone, but the week before you lost Godwin, so you have Mike Evans on the outside, or you have Gronk down the middle,
Right.
and then everything else is patchwork. So I'm sure there's a little fear on Tampa Bay's side.
There's also Vegas reacting to, last week the Jets were, 10-point dog. You had Tampa covering 10 points. They never did that. Maybe they react a little bit. Carolina's bad, though.
Yeah. So I'm going to take Tampa to cover.
I am too. All right, next game here, we have the San Francisco 49ers heading to L.A. to face the Rams. The Rams are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 44 points. San Fran wins this game, they're in. But that's a tough game to have to accomplish that. I guess the Rams are now one of the hottest teams in the league now.
Yeah.
Be it that win against Baltimore is not impressive, but
I don't know because the Rams were struggling to figure out exactly what they were.
Mm-hmm.
So to come out the way they did and win, it's got to say something.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Give me the over in this game.
Give me the Rams to cover.
Really? Rams to cover, Saints to win, the Lions are out of the playoffs. In your opinion?
There it is.
Although you picked them in this year.
And you know what? I think Hill starts the playoff game.
All right. 2 more games here. We have the Arizona Cardinals. Well, Seattle and Arizona face the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 6.5-point favorites. The over-under 48 points. I know the spread is a little lower than you think based on where their teams are right now. Seattle's pretty much out. Although they had a big win, a blowout win against Detroit. It is Detroit. Arizona, a huge win in Dallas last week. Zona can still win the division with the win and the Rams loss. So all could be forgiven if things haven't go their way. Give me the Cardinals to cover this game. This could be Russell Wilson's last game also in Seattle. Seattle's ready to go home.
Yeah, and because it's probably going to be Russ's last game, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So give me the over.
Ooh, okay. So Russ goes out with a bang.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do something, right?
Yeah.
Make them miss you.
And finally, this is going to be the game of the week, obviously. Sunday Night Football. We have the L.A. Chargers heading to Vegas to face the Raiders. The Chargers are 3-point favorites. The over-under 49.5. The Raiders, how are they doing it, dude? The Raiders have just been frisky the last couple weeks.
You know the best thing I heard on TV today?
What's that?
Because they play at the end of the night.
Yeah.
They could, if everything pans out, they could finish in a tie, and both of them go to the playoffs.
Who gets knocked out at that point?
So, what is it, like, if the Colts lose, and I think the Steelers lose, then the Chargers and the Raiders can tie, and they'll both make the playoffs. So they could literally take a knee from start to finish, never play it down, and both teams could go to the playoffs.
which means the team that gets knocked out would be the Colts, right?
Yeah.
But if the Colts win, that's if the Colts lose, though.
Yeah, that's if the Colts lose.
Right.
I mean, yes, they're playing Jacksonville, I think.
Right.
So
the Steelers can get in, but they need help. They need to win their game against Baltimore, and all three teams lose. No, that can't happen because Steelers get in.
they need the Chargers to lose.
Right. They can get in if the Raiders beat the Chargers.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's weird.
But,
Okay.
I thought that was amazing. They could never play it down, and both teams make it if the Colts were to lose and the Steelers were to lose.
Okay. Right. Okay. The Steelers need to lose. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. Wow. Anyway, I'm thinking the over in the game.
Me too.
I think if these teams hate each other, AFC West, for this game. We should go out and watch this game.
I'll probably have off.
Sunday night? We'll see what happens. If I can get
All right.
Off the kids. Anything else to talk about before we get out of here? College football playoff? Wow. No surprise, really.
Dude, what a letdown by Michigan.
Yeah.
What an absolute letdown.
Yeah. Pretty sad.
And the Cincinnati coach, he was just coaching to make sure he didn't get beat by a ton.
They were in that game to the fourth quarter, man.
Exactly. And then every call he made was so scared.
Yeah. Very disappointing. It's typical. And that was the fear about Georgia. Like, which Georgia team was the one was real? Was it the one that led up to the SEC game, or the one that got blown up by Alabama? But of course, it's Alabama, and people bought into that a little bit too much. I said that the game would be closer. Georgia winning is not a surprise. It's the way that game played out. That's what shocked me.
Man, I legit thought after watching Michigan trounce Ohio State, they had a shot at Georgia. Like, I thought they had a real fighter's chance.
Yeah. Alabama, like I said, students, typical thing. So we won't talk again on until after this game. So who you like in the game?
Well, probably because I'm a hater. Not a really Nick Saban, other than it's Alabama. But I really hope Georgia wins.
You have to explain to me this before you go. You're a degenerate. So okay, the line opened at 2.5 points, minus 2.5 Georgia. Now it's 3. What's the logic here? Georgia,
People
Alabama.
really think that it was a fluke the first game and that Georgia is better than what happened.
Which could be true.
Yeah.
But that's and it's hard to beat a team twice.
I can't believe Alabama didn't open as a favorite.
I would rather say I thought maybe I'd see Alabama by 3 at least. I didn't think it'd be like the flip.
I mean, when Alabama just annihilates you on the field and they don't open as a favorite, that's wrong.
Yeah, that's weird. And I wonder if Alabama sees that, and that's bulletin board material.
Oh, that would definitely be. I don't believe in bulletin board material usually, but that is some BS.
Right. So anyway, I bet this game.
Oh yeah.
Of course you are. You're degenerate. What the fuck?
Here's what'll happen. I'll bet Georgia probably in a bunch of different ways, or I'll bet the over in a bunch of different ways. And the problem is, I won't just bet Georgia or the over. I'll tie it to a bunch of teasers and parlays and lose my money. Because I'm a degenerate.
That's right. Stay in character, buddy. Anyway, Zach, we'll talk soon. Good luck with your picks. We're tied going to week 18. We'll see what happens. And, yeah, we'll see what we can do about this weekend. Hopefully we can go watch the game. It's a big game.
All right. Good luck.
All right, buddy. All right, man. Later.
Later.